Hi, I'm Nick Pilavidis, CEO of the Australian Institute of Credit Management, or the AICM. The AICM has been around since 1937, and a lot of things have stayed consistent over that time, one being our mission to connect and develop credit and finance professionals. The other thing has been our relationship with Illion and the predecessor brand of Dun & Bradstreet. That relationship's been really key to what we do at the AICM to advance the careers of thousands of credit and finance professionals. So it's great to be here today with Illion's new CEO, John Banfield. Congratulations on your first 100 days, John.
Thanks, Nick, and thanks very much for having me here.
Before we talk about Illion, I think our members and your customers would like to understand a little bit more about yourself. So perhaps you can share a bit about your career and what brought you to Illion.
Well, my career started way back in New Zealand. I worked for American Express for a number of years there before moving across to Sydney and spending the rest of my time with American Express here in senior roles. My career then moved a number of times, and I ended up more recently as the CEO for BPay for the last 7 years, where I really enjoyed working in the organisation to create a best place to work and to create some fantastic payments that are now used by all Australians. And then more recently, I had the pleasure of meeting the chair of Illion, who in fact approached me for some guidance specifically around managing cultures, managing high performance cultures. And that relationship bloomed to a point where one day the role became available and he asked me what I was doing.
Excellent, that sounds great. Some great brands there you've been involved in, and in the payment space as well, which a lot of the AICM members would be very familiar with, of course. So you've been in the role for 100 days now. It'd be great to understand what that's looked like for yourself.
Well, the first 100 days really started in the first week. And I pitched to the entire organisation that certainly I've got some skills in terms of leading organisations, but I had no real experience in terms of understanding the depth and the width of what Illion was providing out to its clients. So I came in and announced that I was going to be the CLLO for the first 60 days, the Chief Learning and Listening Officer. And that really helped me to establish a way in which I could go and visit certain geographic locations, both in New Zealand and also across Australia, and to learn and listen from everyone. And a lot of people wanted to understand, who I was, what made me who I am today, but also what to expect. One of the things that I highlighted that everyone can expect is that I live by the mantra MAD, making a difference. And I just explained that is both a personal mantra in terms of doing what I do personally, but also something I do professionally, whereby if I can get everyone in the organisation to incrementally just make that small amount of difference, then what a wonderful organisation we will be, and what a wonderful company that we will be to clients that use our services.
Excellent. As the AICM's a learning and development organisation ourselves, I really like that idea of a Chief Listening and Learning Officer. I think a lot of people can take a lot out of that, and that's a great mantra to take into it. But that first 100 days, it can be a real learning experience and getting to understand the organisation, as you said. What are some of the key things you've taken out of that first 100 days?
Well, the key things for a start are that we have really fantastic people in the organisation, people that have an enormous amount of experience in the industry itself. And that is so important to me because I, as I say, am no expert and therefore want to be able to leverage and empower people in the organisation to be able to really make good, solid decisions about where the business should be going. And so I've hired in a Chief People Officer in Lucy Lithgow. I've hired in a Chief Marketing Officer in Renee Amore, and Katharina Doran was just appointed to the Chief Commercial Officer. So I feel now that we've got a really good balance as an executive team. Secondly, for me, was really getting out to see customers and hearing from clients about what they thought of Illion, the experiences that they've had with us in the past, and it clearly gave me the indication that we needed to tweak the way in which we were participating in discussions and creating relationships to a more consultative relationship now than the more sell approach that we've taken in the past. And then lastly, just understanding the growth potential of the company. We have fantastic assets, and there is some tweaking that we need to do to optimize them just ever so slightly to be able to really take them to the next level. And I think that when we do that, we're going to be in a perfect position to be able to be super competitive in the marketplace.
As you start to move into that doing phase and putting that into action, how do you choose to focus on what needs to be done there?
It's a great question. In that when coming in, I certainly felt that we needed to establish a purpose within the organisation. That coupled with the values that I felt that we needed to review to ensure that they were reflective of both our employees and our clients was also instrumental in terms of the way in which we think about our company going forward. And then lastly, the review of our strategy, because we can't do everything. And we've really got to then focus on where we invest and double down in areas that are clearly going to make a difference.
As a CEO myself, I've just got to ask, have you started to see some wins, some early achievements, some things that you're excited about over that first 100 days?
Certainly getting some movement in terms of landing on our purpose, landing on the company values, nearing the end of our review process on our strategy. And then what will come is establishing behaviours in terms of the way in which we want every single employee to be accountable for their own actions. And then from there, we establish a balanced scorecard. And that balanced scorecard should be reflective of our financial performance, our employee sector in terms of how engaged our employees are, our clients in terms of how satisfied they are, where our reputation stands with our clients. We're certainly getting those things into place so that the company is very clear on the direction, on the strategy itself, how we're going to be measured. And I'm pleased to say that we're already getting some of those wins, and we've got some really exciting potential coming up. And that for me just warms the heart in terms of being able to think, you know what, those things that we started and that we said that we were going to do at the start of the year are starting to now develop and come to fruition.
I've got one final question. Illion's been a great supporter of the AICM and the individuals that we represent, our members and credit and finance professionals out there generally, and that's been for a long, long time. So I think that's a pretty good reason for customers to work with Illion. But I guess this is your chance for a pitch. What other reasons? Why should AICM members or future customers of Illion work with you and your team?
I believe that everyone should work with a company that creates fantastic value and is able to consult in a way in which you can get really important information to make solid decisions for your own customers. And I believe Illion is right in the sweet spot of fantastic data sets to be able to inform really intelligent decisions to be made within each of the businesses that credit managers work within. So if you're not using us today, then try us out. If you are using us, hopefully the service that you're getting is going to be even better than the service you're getting right now.
Excellent. Thank you, John. It's been great to understand a bit more about you, your career and the future of Illion. I think I can speak for myself that it's been great to work with the team in the 8 years that I've been in this role. And I've met some of those new people that you've brought on board, and they're all fantastic as well. So only getting bigger and better as far as I'm concerned from the people that we deal with. And it's great to hear that vision for Illion. So I look forward to many more 100 days of advancing and developing the credit profession together.
Well, thanks, Nick. Thanks very much for having me, and also thanks for your very kind words.
Excellent.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Cheers.